Greetings, YouTube. So today we have a special treat. We finally have the Grail Mythic Legions figure, Otho. This guy was released, I want to say, in the first Kickstarter wave, and he wasn't thought to be anything special at that time. But then as the secondary market grew, and because the Kickstarter was, made to order, not a lot of people ordered him, so not a lot of people got him, and then he became scarce, super scarce, to the point where he was going for hundreds of dollars on the secondary market. And Four Horsemen, for whatever reason, never put him in an all-star wave or anything like that, so he was very difficult to get a hold of. In fact, the original one is still difficult to get a hold of. This is Otho 2.0, upgraded with, I want to say, the same head sculpt, but with some added changes. So let's have a look at Otho. As I mentioned before, I never was able to secure the original Otho. I was this close to buying him a couple of times, but I just couldn't spend that much money. It was just too much at the time. I was always hoping he was going to come out in the All-Star wave. They never did it. Maybe because they knew that they were going to be doing something like this later on in the future. I don't know. So we will take the Otho version 2 and put him right here, and then I'm going to put a picture of the original figure here. As you can see, the face sculpt and the hair and everything looks very similar, if not identical, to the original figure. But what we do have are some major improvements, which I'll get into here in a second. Now, one of them you can obviously see right away is the soft goods tunic and tabard. So, they really have been improving upon their figures as far as soft goods accessories, belts that have a little bit more detail to them rather than just a strap with a loop, different armor segments, decorations, shields and things. They have been improving, and they've even improved some of the articulation, which we'll get to here in a little bit. So yeah, this Otho 2.0 is very, very nice. I'm very happy to have him. So they announced this, and they basically had what I guess you could call it an early bird sale, I guess. So they had this figure and the Urzak figure, and you could buy them right now, and they would come to you in like a week, because I got mine probably a few days ago. And then they also have a pre-order running, which that one is still going on. So if you do want him and you didn't get a chance to get him, you can still pre-order him and the Urzak guy, and it'll ship in a few months, maybe. I forget what the timeline was on that was. So, just an awesome sculpt. Again, a guy who came out in the first wave of figures from the Kickstarter. And like I said, at the time, he was just kind of, plain, I guess, compared to the other figures. But then, since not a lot of people ordered him, when people tried to backtrack and go get him, they couldn't, because not a lot of people had him and they weren't selling him, and he was going for big money on the secondary market. Customizers were making a killing doing Otho-ish or Otho-type heads so that people could make their own Otho. I mean, I bought one. I'll show you it later when I do the comparisons, because everybody wanted this guy. If you were a Mythic Legions person, you wanted Otho, and we couldn't get him, but now we can. All right, let's take a look at accessories. Okay, so most of his accessories are actually on him now, but I will go over the ones that are not. He does come with 2 helmets. So you have this helmet that has a faceplate in there of him, and then it can close down with the lion sculpt over the front. And it has this hole back here because you can actually detach his flowing locks there, and you can put them in here so that they're kind of coming out the back, which I'll show off here in a little bit. This part is removable, and then you can take the faceplate out and you can put it in this helmet if you wanted to, which does not have the hairpiece. So there's that. There's this shield attachment that you can switch out for the lion in his shield. So there's that. And then you also get hands, which this, for a long time, us Mythic Legions people, we were used to only getting one set of hands, and it was kind of just a gripping hand, and that was it. But we got these kind of gesturing hands that can give him a little bit more diversity of representations. Then we got two tight gripping hands, like the opening is smaller. And then the ones that he has on him are they're gripping hands, but they're not as tight as these ones that I just showed off. So let's go to the figure himself. So you have the shield, two swords that both come with scabbards, nice painted blue with the gold accents. Here's the smaller sword. Whoops, and I pulled the thing out too. Just put that down real quick. This awesome axe. Spectacular. That is beautiful. And then this sword that's got the lion on the pommel. And that's a bigger broadsword. These belts came on him, but technically they can come off, so you might want to call these accessories as well. You got two belts up here, the big one, and then the smaller one, and then you have the shoulder pads. And then, like I was referring to earlier, his dreadlocks come off. Not only do they come off, but when they're in here, you can spin them and give him the, like his hair's flopping in the wind when he's slicing orcs to pieces and mangling skeletons and destroying goblins. So that's a cool, touch that they added there. So now you can make him, look like he's going to battle and hair's all over the place and he's all in action poses and stuff. So that is cool. All right, let's have a look at articulation. To start off here, we'll look at some of the improvements that they've made. So we have this neck ball joint. This has always been hot look. However, there was no hinge here for a long time. And now we're getting a hinge there, which mine is really stuck. I don't even know if I've used it that much. But so that's an improvement as far as articulation goes. They always could look down pretty good and to the side and everything because of how the head fit on these balls, but I appreciate that they're going, trying to step up their articulation game, because to be honest, as cool as Mythic Legions are, that's one of their weaknesses, is that they don't have hyper or even really, really good articulation. It's just mid. It's okay. It's workable. So here is the helmet with the faceplate that goes up. Got his hair in the back. So, even without using that hinge, as you can see, the head can still move quite a bit. I'm not using the hinge yet. So I don't even know if they necessarily needed to add that, but I appreciate that they did. As far as your fists or your arms go, these are typical Mythic Legion articulation. That can probably go out a little bit hard or higher if I pushed it more. You got a single joint at the elbow, but now we're getting past 90, where we used to get barely 90. So they've opened that up a little bit. Again, is it Marvel Legends or Mafex quality? Of course not, but it does what it needs to do. You got a ball joint at the waist. You have thighs that go out all the way. These actually go out, especially now we got soft goods here, that'll go out all the way. There's a twist there. Oh, and I forgot about the twist at the elbow and at the wrist too. And then you have a single jointed knee that does still go a little bit past 90. You've got ankle articulation. The ankle articulation is actually pretty good. You can get great swivel out of these. Let's see, did I miss anything? I don't think I did. He does have two hands that have a vertical hinge so that when you got the sword, you can do your vertical poses. I believe that's about it, articulation-wise. Comparison time here. So we got my custom Otho that has been my stand-in for who knows how long, since I started collecting Mythic Legions probably. This is basically just a regular knight body. Found some parts that were the cloth, well, it's not really cloth, but the cloth tabard and stuff. Painted it blue, added some flair, gave him some weapons. This was my Otho for a long time. And I got this head from a guy that I get custom heads from. Like I said, customizers and 3D printers and stuff, they probably made a killing making Otho heads because everybody wanted Otho but couldn't get them. So the next best thing was to create one, you know, customize your kit bash one. Put them with a couple of Mythic Legions here. We got Gaspar the Unamused, and then this is a custom barbarian / warrior guy. All right, we got another Mythic Legions kit bash here. This is one using the body parts that they were selling, the African-American, darker-skinned barbarian parts. You can mix and match them with anybody. You can make tons of different characters. I really appreciate that Mythic Legions is doing that. You know, I really like the fact that you can make your own characters with the kit bash stuff that they offer. This guy over here is the Barbarian Berserker from Nightmare Studios. I did a review on that. He now has a custom head. It is now a little bit more proportional to how he looks, and I really love this guy now, but I'm still struggling with these feet. They just will not be stable for me. Then we got here Super 7 Conan and a Zezre Studios Gladiator with a Mezco head. Sticking with sword and sandal, easy for me to say, we got Dark Wolf with a custom head on him. And then here's a custom Masterverse figure. As you can see, the Mythic Legions is not quite 7 inches, but it could fit in with your 7-inch sword and sandal people. It does fit well with the Zezre and the Frazetta Girl stuff. It's right on par with them. All right, so just because I like to be thorough with my comparisons, we got G.I. Joe Classified Retro Beachhead and Axie Toys Devil, aka Pit, because I love this figure. And then to finish up here, we got some Marvel Legends, Captain America, and Thor. Final thoughts on Otho here. So look, this is a great release. I know some people, I saw this conversation on Instagram, people were talking about the price. So he's 55 bucks. Is that a lot for a 1/12 scale figure? I suppose, but that's how much the Mythic Legions go for at retail. If you don't get it from Four Horsemen, a regular named character like this would be about $50-something. So added accessories, updated articulation, I really didn't have a problem paying $55 for him. I didn't. Like, it wasn't even a consideration, especially because of who it was. I see the argument, but Mythic Legions is just different, and it's one of those, if you know, you know. Like, if you're a Mythic Legions fan, you know what you're getting for what you're paying, and you know that if you get it early, you can get it for less, but you'll have to wait a long time, or you can wait and buy it and get it right away and pay the upcharge that BBTS and whatever else charges. It is what it is. I don't think any Mythic Legions fans were, upset about Otho 2.0 with soft goods and more accessories and better articulation being $55. I haven't seen anybody that was a Legions fan complaining about it. It's worth asking the question, but I don't think it's that big of a deal, honestly. So if you want one of these guys, you can still pre-order him. You can still get Urzok. It's a pre-order at this point, so it's not going to come right away, but it'll be faster than usual. It's not like you're going to have to wait like a year or two. So like, comment, subscribe. Later.